Okay, at this time, I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Town of White Lake for January 9, 2024. We're meeting a little early tonight because of the reception that we're having. And at this time, I would ask you to bow your heads for the invocation. Lord, we thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to gather here this evening to discuss the business of our town and to recognize these two men who have served with such good thoughts and good work for the town of White Lake for a long period of time. And Lord, we ask your blessing upon them and their families. And Lord, we ask that you guide and direct us as we attempt to do your will and do those things that are in the best interest of the citizens of this town. These things we ask in Christ's name. Amen. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we will get started with our reception very briefly after that. I would ask Commissioner Evans, if you would, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, if y'all will remain here for just one moment, we are beginning early tonight. We wanted to recognize Mr. Tim Clifton and Mr. Tom RIEL for their years of service on the board. And before we recess this meeting for our reception, I wanted to give any of the commissioners who wanted to an opportunity to speak. And Paul, I'll start with you. You don't have to say anything. If you want to, you're welcome to.
Well, thank you. I'd like just to address both of you. I appreciate the time and the effort that you both put in. Tom, you've done it a lot of years, and you do it because you love the lake. Same for you, Tim. You do it because you love the lake, and I hope everybody recognizes that anybody who does sit up here really loves the lake, and that's why they want to be here. So you guys have been a great example of that. Thank you.
Tim?
Tom, not only we grew up together and you're a dear friend of mine, and of course Irene, probably a better friend. No, I love both of you. And we served on this board, and you've always been a mentor. You were always level-headed. You kind of kept you cool. You kind of went down the center of the road. And now I'm sitting in your seat, and got a lot of big shoes to fill. We've served on the board, and I nominated you every year to be the mayor pro tem because of that wisdom you had, that foresight that you had, and hopefully I can continue your footsteps. And hopefully our friendship will continue for on and on and on. So take care of yourself. Tim, it's been a pleasure serving on the board with you. I know when you first run, you again, like Paul, you come with nothing but good things for the lake. You got one heck of an investment your family has here at the lake. You're a businessman that I always like to hear from the town board point of view. You know, I really told so many people this board has got the smartest men and women that are in this community, in this county, probably in this state. It's so diversified. And again, you were another gentleman, and I use that word very, not everybody can get that title, but a Southern gentleman that tried to keep peace and harmony. And all times, sometimes you just can't do that. You know, I always say 50% of people are going to be mad with us and won't be the same 50. They kind of change up, especially when it comes to zoning matters. But it has been a pleasure. I look forward to your boys going up here at the lake and enjoying it. And thanks again for your service.
Mike, any comment you'd like to make with Tim and
I'm sorry I'm late. Something got to work.
I understand.
It's been a pleasure working with both of you guys. It's a thankless job sometime, but I know you know that. But you know, it's been a pleasure. Tom, how long you been on there?
32.
32. Wow. That's saying something there.
Jake,
Yeah,
anything
so,
you'd like to say?
Tom and Tim, appreciate both of y'all's time. Obviously, you got some big shoes to fill. It's gonna be a big endeavor to follow after y'all. Tom, obviously your family, my family's well connected. Got a lot of history and appreciate everything y'all done for the lake and for my family. So I'll continue to move forward with that. And, anything you ever need, we're right here. And thanks again. And Tim, that same thing for you. Your boys and my family and your sister and your brother-in-law, everybody, they're like family to me, and appreciate all the time. It's going to be a challenge to fill your shoes, and I hope to make all y'all proud, and appreciate y'all's blessing.
Terry.
I'd like to thank you both for your service. Appreciate sitting in this seat and doing what you could for as long as you did, Tom, for your 8 years, Tim. Appreciate it. If I say anything more, I'll start crying.
Gentlemen, I'd like to say that it's been a genuine pleasure working with both of you. I know how much y'all love White Lake. I know what wonderful board members y'all have been. You have conducted yourselves as gentlemen. You have worked hard and diligently, and you have tried to educate yourself on the things that needed to be done, and both brought a lot to this board in terms of allowing us to move forward on things. Tim hadn't been as long with you as it has with Tom, but I genuinely appreciate the time that I've served with you. I think you've did a terrific job on the board, and we look forward to you. We're going to try to appoint you on something else at some point if we can. And Tom, I don't really know what to say. Tom, I was out from a morning run not too long ago, and I ran into Jeff Corbett, and Jeff reminded me, and I didn't remember it until I talked with Jeff, that when Jeff went off the board, because he served for a good while, he was mayor pro tem, and when Jeff got off the board, he was the one that made the motion to appoint Tom RIEL as mayor pro tem. And Tom has been our mayor pro tem ever since then. And although he sat on my left-hand side, he was my right-hand man on the board for all of those years. I think about 32 years is about right. Tom and he and I have been through some difficult times on the board and good times on the board, and Tom has always been right there, been a valuable asset. And I always knew that his heart was in the right place when it came to White Lake, because I know how much he and his family love this place. And the only other thing I could say before we start our reception, and I mean this sincerely, Jack would be quiet. We appreciate the job both of you did. Okay, at this time, we're going to take a recess in this meeting, and these ladies have set up a good-looking meal back here. I hope y'all will all share with that. We're glad to have you here tonight and have everybody join in. So we're recessed for the reception this time. All right, again, if I could have your attention, we'll go ahead and get started on this. And I would like to present plaques we have made for both Tim and Tom. And at this time, I would like to read into the record both of these. The first is presented to Tim and says, "In recognition and appreciation of your 8 years of professional and dedicated service you provided to the town of White Lake, employees, and the citizens of White Lake, Commissioner Timothy L. Clifton." Thank you. And the next for Tom is, "In recognition and appreciation of your 32 years of professional and dedicated service you provided to the town of White Lake, employees, and the citizens of White Lake, Mayor Pro Tem Thomas E. Riel. Thank you, Tom.
It's been a pleasure serving in town of White Lake. I've worked with several different commissioners through the years, and Goldston is a leader. We've come a long way since we ran a little bitty room. It was supposed to be part, it's not supposed to be there that long. Now we're here. So I'm thank the board members. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we have taken a recess of approximately 1 hour to present those proclamations and to thank Tom and Tim for their dedicated service to the town of White Lake for many years. And again, we appreciate everything that you did, and we look forward to seeing y'all back here with us anytime that you can. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and proceed with the town agenda for tonight. The first item on the agenda is approval of the consent agenda items, and I will mention to you that item before we do the agenda adoption that's under the approval of consent agenda items, item 4A is being removed from the agenda. That's the stormwater master plan presentation. We heard from Withers Ravenel, and they advised that they needed some additional time to complete that. They expect to have that here at our February meeting, and they also would like for us to have the planning board in attendance for that. So we're going to invite all the planning board members, since they worked on things, particularly dealing with the zoning aspects of that. And we plan to have that on the agenda for the 2/13 meeting. So under the consent agenda items, we have items A through E. The only modification is on the agenda adoption. 4A is removed from the agenda. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as set forth in items 2A through E.
Make a motion.
Been a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
On 3A, I didn't have that in my agenda. I told this one here, the Dr. Lawson's report.
Well, we're not on that yet.
Oh, okay, but I'm saying it's not in there either. If we need.
Yes, sir.
And
There was a copy that was left at on your council seat today, and it was emailed out about 4:30. I apologize for that late notice. I'll speak to it when we get to it.
Yeah, that's under item number 3. We're on right now item number 2, which is the approval of the consent agenda items. There's been a motion second. Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Now we're to the administrative matters under item 3. And Sean, I will let you proceed with those if you would.
Yes, sir. For the first administrative matter, the White Lake Water Management Project update. This update was delayed, and Dr. Larson did want me to pass along her condolences, and certainly she did want to apologize for the delay. She has just finished or in the final process of the 2023 annual report, which she hopes to have ready for the board very shortly in the coming months. And as a result, the update for this month was shorter, as well as it was delayed. So for the update this month, she does give an update on the lake levels, and there's some data here that goes through annual lake elevations, high and low. But of particular interest is the lake level chart, and it will be posted on whitelakewatch.com as the update to the board. But you'll notice that the lake was sort of following the previous year's trends in terms of the level, and then around October it really starts to increase pretty substantially to the point in December it rose fairly well and has continued that level moving into January. But again, the report for this month is short, with the understanding that the 2023 annual report will be available for the board to review in the upcoming days. That's all I have on that item there.
All right. Item B, if you'll update us on the water AIA project.
Yes, sir. For the AIA project, you will see an update in your board packet, and it does go through and list out both the work that was completed during the month of December 2023 for the asset and inventory assessment grant that we've received on our drinking water system. There is also a column for the work anticipated during the month of January 2023. And again, I invite you to read through that at your convenience for the individual details. But the short and sweet of it is the project is progressing as planned. It's on schedule, and we hope to have an asset and inventory plan available for the board to review in the beginning of the fall of 2024. We're working with our Public Works Department, our Public Works Director, and of course, the engineering firm Withers Ravenel on this project. If there are no questions from the board, Mayor, that's all I have for item B.
Unless any questions, item C is request for proposals, legal services. Sean, if you'll cover that for me.
Yes, sir. For the item C, request for proposals on the legal services, you will see in your board packets a request for proposals, and it does go through the individual positions as for the scope of services, the specific requirements, and the form of proposal are all addressed in the aforementioned RFP. And then, of course, at the bottom of that, it talks about the selection process. Again, the short and sweet of this proposal is that the town will publish this RFP. There will be roughly 3 weeks for interested candidates, interested attorneys that would be looking to fill the role of town attorney to apply to the town. At that time, prior to next month's board meeting, staff will bring those proposals back to the board for the board's consideration. And then at that time, once we consider any proposals, we'll move forward either with individual candidate, with a couple of candidates, or we will resubmit the proposal looking for additional candidates. If there are no questions, staff would ask that the board publish this RFP for legal services as presented.
Is the questions part, is that a typo at the end there for who to submit questions to?
It is, yeah. It should be. That should be my information. I'm not sure how that's listed like that, but we'll make sure that that is published correctly. Thank you for pointing that out.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the request for proposal in item C.
Motion to approve.
Motion second.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. In item D is the Town of White Lake calendar of budget activities. Sean, if you will cover that for us, please.
Yes, sir. This is the budget calendar. At our previous meeting, we did appoint both a budget officer and a budget committee. And this calendar is brought to you tonight. The date has changed a little bit with the postponement or reschedulement of our council meeting, but that January 9th date on the side in the left-hand column would read January 16th with today's date. But other than that, the calendar holds true. It's a proposal. Of course, those are subject to change. But this is the calendar that the board, that staff is asking the board to adopt. You'll notice there's a couple of different dates available. We can certainly talk about those at a previous or upcoming meeting, excuse me, once you've had time to review this and check with your schedule as to what dates work best with you. But the staff is planning again, as previous years, to have a budget retreat that features our department heads and talking about their individual budgets. That gives the board the opportunity to review those requests with the department heads And then staff is then proposing to have a second budget retreat further along in the process where staff is presenting a balanced budget and giving the board time to review that balanced budget. And of course, solicit comments from the public, as well as schedule the public hearing for the budget at that time. If there are no questions, staff would ask that the board approve the budget calendar as presented, with the caveat being that we will finalize these dates as we get a little bit closer to the individual budget retreats.
All right, we've got the fiscal year 24-25 budget calendar as presented. At this point, I'd entertain a motion that be approved as presented.
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Next matter is item E, and that is the Lumber River Council of Government Board of Directors nominations. Sean, if you'll take that, please.
Yes, sir. I want to start this agenda item off by saying thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Blunt for his service on the board. It's my understanding he's been the town's representative for quite some time, and I want to say thank you for that, as well as I know David Richardson and Liberty Council of Governments would like to extend that thank you as well. Having said that, the board does need to nominate a replacement for Mayor Pro Tem Blunt. Staff would recommend the board nominate a replacement candidate and then nominate an alternate in the event that the first candidate is not available. But I would just also say this is a great opportunity to network with other board members, elected officials, managers, administrators in the region, as well as really get to know some of the projects and that are going on in the region and the region as a whole. But again, staff would ask that the board nominate a representative and an alternative for this Lumber River Council of Government Board of Directors.
Anybody like to volunteer on this?
I would.
Terry said she would like to be considered for that. Is there anyone else that would like to look at that position or to look at the position of alternate in case she is unable to attend?
I'll do alternate.
Okay. I thank both of you. For anybody else on that? If not, I would like to entertain a motion that Terry Hawley be approved as the representative for COG, and that the alternate would be Paul Evans.
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
I'd like to make a comment on that, Mr. Mayor.
It's Thursday's the meeting. I'll be out of town this Thursday. Of course, it's gonna be on Zoom. I like the opportunity to go with y'all, make the introduction, and give them my departure. So possibly next month,
Yes, sir.
to go to do that.
This Thursday?
It was this Thursday's their meeting. I'm out of town, so I won't be able to attend, but I would like the following month to go with y'all at that time, to introduce y'all to that, since I was the chairman for a couple of years. And I can do the Zoom meeting Thursday night. I mean, y'all can do the Zoom meeting as well, but.
This coming Thursday night.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind that at all. That sounds like.
Yeah, I think Mr. Richardson would be
I'm
very.
still a little confused as to whether you're doing it this Thursday or the following Thursday.
It's this Thursday's a regular meeting, and I'm saying next month on the third Thursday, I'd like to go with them.
Okay.
And you can tell David goodbye on that board and introduce them at that time, and if Sean would like to go with us, might be a good time. Because most of those meetings are live and or Zoom, so it'd be good if we went live.
Yep. All right, there's been a motion, second. Any other discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. The next item is department commissioner nominations. We have basically 6 departments: got administration, police, fire, streets, water and wastewater, and sanitation. At the present time, Sean, let's see, we've got administration is Paul Evans at current time. Police, Tim Blunt. Fire, Dean Hilton. Streets is Mike Suggs. The water and wastewater is, was Tom Rile's position, and sanitation was Tim Clifton's, position. So if, do each of the ones that are currently serving on those departments, is that department you would like to retain?
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna recuse myself from any department heads. I felt like being the mayor pro tem, I wouldn't be over any department heads. I think it'd be enough for everybody else to serve in my capacity as a police chief.
Okay, we not chief, but commissioner. The only problem, see, we got 6 departments and we got 6 commissioners, so they'll be uncovered.
You can combine fire and police, and I'll take both of them, if you want to.
I don't have any problem with that. If you want to do that, I got no problem with it. We just will have all of them covered. So Paul, would you like to maintain administration?
Yes,
and Tim, you don't want to be assigned to any of them. Dean would be fire and police. And Mike is streets.
That's right.
Okay. With you, Terry, would you and Jake, do y'all have a preference as to what y'all would like to do? And we can just probably do this by consent.
Personally, I'd be fine doing the water and wastewater.
Okay.
If that was fine with Terry.
Terry, would that be agreeable with you?
Yes, I had wanted administration. I thought you were going to change. I thought you had said that you wanted to rotate.
I'd like for us all to rotate, at least to be able to handle each one of them at some point. I've had fire before, but it doesn't matter to me. I'll take any of them.
Well, we normally leave you in the position of what you would like to be in unless you express a desire for something else.
Administration's fine right now.
Okay. Terry, sanitation okay with you? Okay. At this time, then, I would entertain a motion that we appoint Paul Evans administration, fire and police Dean Hilton, streets Mike Suggs, water wastewater would be Jake Womble, and sanitation would be Terry Hawley.
So
Motion second. Second. Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, next matter is has been removed from the agenda, the stormwater master plan, which we anticipate being received at the February meeting.
Mayor, if I may just make a comment on that. You'll see that the plan is in your board packet. I guess at this point you can consider that as a draft, although at one time it was a final copy. If you want to review that and provide any feedback with that to the staff, that would be well received. And certainly, as Mayor said, on February 13th, we plan on having the engineering team here at the town of White Lake to both present that item as well as answer any questions and feedback that the board would have at that time.
All right, Sean, item 5 under the resolutions, if you see the 5A, and then we'll look at 5B.
Yes, sir. 5A is resolution number 2024-10. And this is a resolution that is declaring a item in the fire department to be declared as surplus. And the town of White Lake would then intend to donate it's a 1,000 gallon skid unit, which is a tank, a pump, and a reel, to the Hickory Grove Fire Department to assist in any ability to respond and provide mutual aid for brush fires and any other use that they would have for that item, particularly in mutual aid, but any use they would have thereof. Dale does not use this item anymore with the town of White Lake. It has been replaced with a newer model, and he has requested that we do this. You will also see behind the resolution in your board packet is a letter from Hickory Grove Volunteer Fire Chief Scotty Morgan making a request for that item. And Chief Brennan is here if you have any questions on that use of item, but, if not, staff would recommend that the board, approve the resolution as presented.
Only thing I would add to that, and Dale continue this, we've had a great working relationship with the Hickory Grove Fire Department. Our area that we cover outside the town limits extends out toward them. They've always been very good in assisting us in those areas to help with coverage on that, and with them being basically a rural department, that's been a great help to us. And I would think this would be a very good thing to keep the good working relationship that we have with them, and for us to support them in that regard. And would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution 2024-10 as presented.
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Sean, if you'll cover item B.
Yes, sir. This is resolution 2024-11, and this one's a little different. You'll see the resolution in your board packet, and you'll also see a request for professional services, a scope of services, if you will. And it outlines in detail a project description, a timeline for services, a scope of services, etc. This is a mandate by the state of North Carolina on lead and copper. This is where it's coming from. And the town is currently in the, what I would call the find stage of this project. Find and replace is what this grant is opportunity for. So the town with the Public Works Director, as well as some of his staff, have already begun identifying where there is mostly copper on the service and lateral lines. And there may be a couple areas on main lines, but we don't have much lead. But this is, again, a mandate coming down from DEQ. They've given a timeline for these laterals and the lead and copper in your drinking water systems to be replaced. And this scope of services that you see attached to the resolution is a grant application fee in the sum of $5,000, which brings a pretty good value to the table in terms of being able to write a grant in a way that allows the town to maximize the proceeds if we are successful in that grant. The sum of the grant is for $2 million. And again, that is to replace, well, technically to find and replace, but again, as mentioned, we're already doing the finding part. So it is to replace lead and copper in our service lines, as well as our main drinking lines on our drinking water system where applicable. So this resolution is both acknowledging the proposal from Willis Ravenel for the grant administration fee or grant writing fee, and then the resolution itself is to apply for the programs. The program application deadline is March, the beginning of March 2024. If there are no questions, Mayor, the staff would ask the board to approve resolution 2024-11 and the scope of services as presented.
There's been a request from staff that we approve resolution number 2024-11 as presented. I would entertain a motion for that approval at this time.
So moved.
Motion second.
Second.
Any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Under item number 6, first matter is other commissioners' business not on the agenda. As I've stated in the past, these are non-voting items, and I would ask each of you as commissioners, as I've asked in the past, if you know of anything that is, unless it's something of an emergency nature that we need to discuss on our agenda, it would be very good if you could bring it up prior to the meeting and let us put it on the agenda so that everyone would have notice of things that are coming up. That's just the best way to handle it. So with that being said, are there any brief non-voting items that anyone has on the commissioners that are not on the agenda?
On this water festival, I've been on some meetings, and Dean's been with me and got some real positive things going. And I think Sean had mentioned maybe try to get with the chamber, kind of give us an update. I'm still not at ease with how we're going with the Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to get a kind of update on that. So if there's somehow we can get them on the agenda next month, I sure would appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I'm working with Amy, the new chamber director, to satisfy that requirement or that request.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're paying our dues to the chamber and got things about trying to promote the lake and spend our money sparingly. I do.
Mr. Mayor, Sean, on, I think it's Tyner Street, right beside the Lake Place condos. I've had 5 calls in the past 2 weeks with all this rain about if we could do anything with that street. I've explained to them that it's not it doesn't appear to be a town street, although it's in the town limits, but maybe it was part of a private club at some point. I don't know if we can do some rock or something that's pretty bad. I went down there today and looked at it.
Yes, sir. I'll say that Public Works Director Kevin Taylor is well aware of that, and we are actively looking at any infrastructure underneath the road. There may be an issue for the board to address in the future on that side of things, but certainly we will evaluate any and all opportunities in that area.
I don't know if the town of Elizabethtown would sell us some of that asphalt that's ground up at the airport, or possibly give us some. I mean, I think about 4 loads of that.
That's a private street.
Solid
It's a
problem.
private street. We can't use it out there if it's private, but those folks might be able to do something with it. I know Elizabethtown did have a large amount that was ground up because they had to completely tear up and completely replace the runway out there. They were gonna add 2 inches and they weren't able to do that. They had to go down to the base and they ground that up. We'll check, but we can't expend town funds in order to do that, unfortunately.
If you can just look at that. And then also, Winnie and Jean, I think they were on Myrtle Street, very complimentary of your help. I think there was a sewer issue. They called me, I cannot remember their last name, but to especially say they appreciated your efforts and hard work on that. So thank you.
All right. Anything else?
Sean, do you know if the Duke project is complete at the lake?
The Duke project, in terms of lighting.
Well, we signed waivers, I guess, a year ago, saying that we're gonna do some work, and they've said they're complete and out of the area, that they haven't done work.
Have to look into that. Certainly, I'd be more than happy to connect with you outside of a meeting and continue that conversation. I'm not aware of a project like that, but doesn't mean there's not. It's just not coming to memory right now.
Okay.
Anything else? All right, we've got the departmental briefings and reports contained as item 6A. And in informational purposes in item B, this is something that John's been working on for a while. We're expecting a proposal at the February 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting from a hydrologist to continue the work proposed in the preliminary lake management plan. As a part of the proposal, the work will include a groundwater study to better understand the hydrology and flow of water as it relates to the lake, and we're hopeful that we will have that to you at the February meeting. Item C, we continue to work with Bladen County building inspections on the 3 properties that I think, Tim, that you had mentioned at a previous meeting, and basically those, we don't have a building inspector, but the county does, and we have asked them to be looked at to see about declaring those as uninhabitable, and if they do, then we'll see how we can proceed on some type of cleanup with it. Obviously, item D is passed since we delayed our meeting for a week to have the receptions, and there were a couple of things I wanted to mention that we had just received in, just so y'all will be aware of it. One of them is there is going to be a reception that all y'all are invited to that are on the board, and it honors Greg Martin, who was the county manager for many years and honor him on his retirement. That's going to be Monday, January the 29th. And we'll try to send out something reminding you of that. From 5:30 to 7:30, that'll be at the Cape Fear Vineyard and Winery in town. That's Monday, January 29th, 5:30 to 7:30. Sean, if we will send out something as an additional reminder on that. And then also there is we've got the annual meeting of the Elizabethtown White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. That is January the 25th at 5:30. That's at Lou Mill Vineyard. And if you can make it to that, if you'll let we are members of the chamber, if you'll let the town manager know, we can provide tickets for attendance of that to the commissioners. And speaking at that meeting, Dane Rideout will be speaking on behalf of town of Elizabethtown. Chuck Hustis with Bladen County and Bladen's Blooming, and Sean will be speaking on behalf of the town of White Lake. So would like to have good attendance at that if we can, and we will also send you a reminder of when that comes up.
Who did we tell?
Do what?
Who did you say we tell if we were urged?
You tell myself that either.
Yeah, yes, yes, the town staff. Yeah. And again, hope y'all will be able to attend that. We obviously we passed the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, which was on our schedule. At this time, we're at the open forum. It's 3 minutes per citizen. If there's anyone here who would care to address the board, you have 3 minutes to speak. You need to identify yourself when you come up. And at this time, it's the forum is open in 3 minutes per citizen if anyone needs to speak. Jonathan, we know who you are, but for the record, identify yourself and we'll let you speak. There you go.
Hey, it's Jonathan Langston. I was coming to maybe answer Mr. Blunt's question about the White Lake Water Festival and all. We had a White Lake Water Festival meeting, and of course, we also the Elizabethtown White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce has hired a coordinator for the White Lake Water Festival. But basically, because the Water Festival meeting was the day before that the board met, we couldn't approve or make public basically that recommendation. So the Elizabethtown White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce has officially hired the White Lake Water Festival coordinator, Janae Pope. She's a resident of White Lake, and she has experience handling festivals such as Denim Days and has worked with the Cotton Festival. She's worked to develop Spring Fling, and she served on the Irwin and Dunn Chambers Vice President, Treasurer, Events Coordinator. She's also a retired educator and principal of 18 years. She's served within the state, the district, the General Foundation, Federation of Women's Club. So she's done a bunch of stuff, and we're excited that Janae is going to be leading up the Water Festival coordinator position along with the community at large.
Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate you keeping us updated on that. Anyone else wishes to address the board? If not, I appreciate all of you attending tonight. I thank y'all for being here, and Tom and Tim, again, we're delighted to have y'all here tonight. Delighted to have your families here, and glad y'all could come for this. And again, we look forward to seeing y'all again very soon. Okay, at this time, if there's no further business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion second, any discussion? Not all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Thank you very much.